Have you ever felt a sudden shiver upon hearing a musical note or the sound of the wind? This happens because, at the deepest level, you are not made only of matter, but of vibration. In the ancient traditions of Egypt, it was believed that there was a specific frequency, the so-called Sound of Thoth, capable of realigning our perception with the original harmony of nature. This knowledge, which for a long time remained restricted to a few, is now resurfacing as a tool for balance for modern man. In this video, we're not just going to talk about theory. I'm going to guide you through a sound practice so you can feel firsthand how sound can reorganize your inner state. Prepare for an experience where the proof won't come from words, but from the resonance of your own body. We'll discover how this ancient technology can clear mental noise and bring a clarity you may never have experienced before. Before we begin, if silence had a sound for you today, would it be one of peace or unease? Describe that feeling below in your own words. I want to understand your current state of mind. Everything that exists is a vibration. Forget the silent Big Bang. The universe was born from a sound. Egyptian legends speak of Thoth, a god who used only his voice to create everything that exists, uttering secret words that gave shape to the cosmos. This is not just any myth. It is the basis of a lost knowledge that claims that sound is the source code of reality, a truth that has been deliberately hidden from you. The idea that frequencies can organize matter is not mysticism. Modern science, through cymatics, proves that sound creates perfect geometric patterns from chaos. What you perceive as solid matter is, in fact, an extremely slow vibration. The possibility that humanity has already mastered this creative frequency is not a fantasy. It is a dangerous truth that has been suppressed. Consider the implications. If a sound can create, it can also destroy. Knowledge of a master frequency that manipulates reality would be the most powerful tool in the world. The key to healing, infinite energy, and transcendence, but also the ultimate weapon. This knowledge wasn't lost by chance. It was hidden by an elite who possess it and use it to maintain control. So why hide something so fundamental? Because a sound capable of altering reality would return power to your hands. We live immersed in constant chaotic noise, a distraction designed to prevent us from hearing the universe's background music. This noise is not accidental. It is a weapon to keep you asleep, disconnected from your true power. The power contained in that primordial sound is unimaginable. It can restructure matter, influence consciousness, and rewrite the rules of the game. If this knowledge were released, the power structures that govern the world would crumble. Now you understand why it was kept secret. But such a great secret cannot be kept forever, and that same power to create is also the power to heal. A voice that heals. If a voice can create galaxies, it can also heal the human body. Thoth's power was not only to create, but to restore harmony. The legend of the Eye of Horus, broken in battle and remade by Thoth, speaks not of surgery, but of vibrational realignment. He used his knowledge of universal laws to apply a corrective frequency, making the eye whole again. Your body is an orchestra, and each cell vibrates at a specific frequency. Illness is merely a discordant instrument, a break in the harmony. Thoth's action symbolizes the application of a precise sound that forces the diseased part to remember its original note, restoring the balance of the whole. This is why the Eye of Horus has become the greatest symbol of health and protection, a diagram of perfect resonance. This healing technology, based on frequencies, returns power to the individual. You wouldn't need intermediaries, only the knowledge to generate the correct vibration. This represents a direct threat to a system that profits from your illness. The wisdom of Thoth has been suppressed and ridiculed, so that you would forget the power you have over your own health. The wisdom of Thoth taught that the body heals itself when it is in tune. Illness is merely a sign that you have lost your natural frequency, and healing comes from removing internal dissonance. Imagine hospitals using resonance chambers instead of pills, treating depression with frequencies that restore joy. This is not fiction, it is a memory we have been forced to forget. In a world that profits from chaos, harmony becomes the enemy. The first strategy to defeat this power is to silence its voice. But suppression went a step further. They not only silenced the voice of healing, but replaced it with a constant, dissonant noise, designed to keep us sick and disconnected. If a sound can heal, the wrong sound can make you sick. What if our sonic reality has been subtly altered to keep us out of tune? The forbidden sound theory points to a specific change that affected the entire world: the standardization of musical tuning to 440 Hz. The official story speaks of technical convenience, but many researchers claim it was a deliberate act of vibrational sabotage. According to them, the natural frequency of the universe is 432 Hz, a vibration that resonates with the human heart and promotes peace. In contrast, 440 Hz is described as dissonant and irritating to the nervous system. The difference is only 8 vibrations per second, but at a cellular level, your body feels it. Constant exposure to this artificial frequency generates a subtle state of anxiety and agitation. Think about it. Almost all the music you listen to today is tuned to 440 Hz. We are bombarded by this dissonant frequency from birth. This noise pollution keeps us in a lower vibrational state, more prone to fear and anger. It's a form of mass control so subtle that most people never question it. A discordant symphony that prevents us from hearing our own harmony. Who benefits from this? The same forces that suppressed sound healing. Elites who understand vibrational warfare and know that controlling the frequency of a population is controlling its emotional state. Keeping humanity in a state of subtle imbalance is the most effective way to ensure that no one has the energy or clarity to question the system. It's the perfect prison because the prisoners don't know they're in it. What do they fear will happen if we return to 432 Hz? They fear we might remember, that we might rediscover our connection to the cosmos and awaken our dormant potential to heal and create. The 432 Hz frequency would be a key to accessing a higher state of consciousness, and that's why they locked it away. But what if there was an ancient manual that taught how to hack this system? The secret code on the emerald tablets. In the midst of this dissonant world, an ancient text resurfaces, promising the weapons to fight. The emerald tablets of Thoth. Thoth. Not the short version, but a controversial one that describes a cosmic war fought not with weapons, but with frequencies. On one side, the sons of light, guardians of harmony. On the other, the sons of Belial, dark beings who use dissonance to imprison human consciousness. The text functions as a manual for vibrational counterattack. It teaches that your only defense is your own personal frequency. Thoth instructs his followers to constantly raise their vibration through sounds and meditation, becoming an impenetrable shield. Dark forces simply cannot interact with someone who vibrates at a much higher octave than their own. The promise is clear. Your innate power to manipulate reality through sound has been suppressed so that you remain a slave. The tablets would be a cheat code for the game of life, a guide to hacking the vibrational matrix and regaining control of your frequency. It is the promise of total sovereignty, the key to rewriting your own destiny. The story gets even stranger. The tablets claim that Thoth built the Great Pyramid not as a tomb but as a portal, an initiation device for the children of light to drastically raise their vibrations and strengthen themselves for battle. The pyramid would be a machine, a power amplifier designed to execute the teachings of the tablets. The conclusion is inescapable. If the tablets are the software, the pyramid is the hardware. If there is a code to hack reality and an ancient machine to execute it, the next question is obvious. How does this machine work? The search takes us from the pages of a mystical text to the sands of Egypt, in search of a technology that defies everything we know. The search for this machine of power leads us to one of the most enigmatic places on the planet. Forget everything you were taught in school. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not a tomb. You don't build the most precise structure on the face of the earth, perfectly aligned with the cardinal points and the stars, using millions of stone blocks weighing tons, just to bury a pharaoh. The absence of hieroglyphs and treasures in the main chambers has always been a nuisance to the official theory. The truth is that the pyramid is a machine, a lost technology. Researchers like Christopher Dunn, an engineer who has spent his life studying the pyramid with the precision of a machinist, have presented compelling evidence. He argues that the pyramid was designed as a power plant, but not a power plant that burns fuel, a power plant that converts the Earth's natural vibrations into energy. The entire structure would be an immense transducer, capturing the subtle tremors of our planet and transforming that mechanical energy into something else, into electrical energy, microwaves, or something we haven't even rediscovered yet. The heart of this machine would be the king's chamber. It wasn't built with local limestone, but with massive blocks of granite from Aswan transported hundreds of kilometers. And Aswan granite is extremely rich in quartz crystals. Quartz has a fascinating property called piezoelectricity. When you squeeze it or make it vibrate, it generates an electrical charge. Dunn's theory is that the entire pyramid was designed to resonate at a specific frequency, causing the granite of the king's chamber to vibrate intensely and generate an enormous amount of energy. And what about the famous sarcophagus inside the king's chamber? It's also made from a single block of granite. The official theory says it's a coffin, but it's too large to fit through the corridors. It had to be placed there while the pyramid was being built. Dunn and other researchers argue that it's not a coffin, but a sounding board, an amplifier. It would be the focal point of all the pyramid's vibrational energy, tuned to resonate in perfect harmony with the chamber, amplifying the sound to incredible levels. The pyramid is not a passive monument, it's a giant dynamic musical instrument. This vision completely transforms our understanding of ancient Egypt. They were not just brilliant builders, they were masters of acoustic physics and vibrational engineering. They understood that frequency is the key to energy. The pyramid becomes a piece of advanced technology, a resonance machine built with a precision that many of our modern tools would struggle to replicate. It was not made for the dead, but for the living, a tool to be used. This brings us back to the central question. If the Great Pyramid is, in fact, a resonance machine, a vibrational power plant, what is the exact frequency it was designed to amplify? What note does this colossal instrument play? And, more importantly, what effect would this specific vibration have on a person inside the king's chamber, at the epicenter of this sonic storm? The answer to this question is not just a number. It is the key that connects the machine to its ultimate purpose. The forbidden chord of the pyramid. The answer we were looking for wasn't in ancient texts, but was measured with modern microphones. Acoustic engineers who were allowed to study the king's chamber made a chilling discovery. The room isn't acoustically dead. On the contrary, it's a near-perfect sounding board. When they played different sounds, they discovered that the chamber violently amplifies a specific chord, an F-sharp chord. It's not a random sound, but a precise musical harmony, determined by the exact dimensions of the room, built to sing that specific note. But the most shocking discovery came when they turned off all their equipment and simply listened. In complete silence, the microphones picked up a constant vibration, a very low-frequency hum permeating the camera, an infrasound around 16 Hz. This frequency is right on the threshold of human hearing. Most people can't consciously hear it, but the body feels it. And modern science knows that exposure to infrasound in this range can induce altered states of consciousness, feelings of awe, fear, or the sensation of a presence in the environment. Where does this sound come from? The most widely accepted theory is that it is generated by the wind blowing through the narrow air shafts leading out of the pyramid, creating an acoustic phenomenon called Helmholtz resonance, like the sound you make when you blow into the mouth of a bottle. The entire pyramid acts as a gigantic wind instrument, perpetually playing this 16 Hz note. The machine doesn't need to be switched on. It's always on, singing its silent song for thousands of years, waiting for someone with the right sensitivity to come in and listen. This changes everything. The pyramid would not merely be a power plant, but a psychotronic device. A machine designed not to power cities, but to tune human consciousness. The F-sharp chord and the 16 Hz infrasound would not be accidental byproducts, but the primary purpose of the structure. Ancient priests or initiates would enter the king's chamber to bathe in these frequencies, to force their brains into non-ordinary states of consciousness, to open portals in the mind. In this scenario, the sarcophagus becomes even more important. It would not only be an amplifier, but a tuning fork for focusing. The initiate would lie inside it, and the priests could use their own voices, singing in harmony with the chamber's chord, to activate the sarcophagus and the person inside. It would be a process of forced attunement, aligning the individual's brainwaves with the pyramid's fundamental frequency, which in turn was aligned with the vibrations of the earth and the cosmos. The pyramid reveals itself as a portal to other dimensions, but not a physical portal. A mental portal. The image that emerges is of an incredibly sophisticated technology that uses sound to interact directly with human biology and consciousness. The Egyptians weren't just moving stones, they were sculpting frequency itself. They created a sonic environment designed to induce transcendental experiences. But the ultimate question remains: How exactly does this 16 Hz frequency and the F-sharp chord interact with our bodies? What is the biological mechanism that allows a sound to alter our consciousness so profoundly? The answer lies in a small gland in the center of our brain. The sound that awakens the third eye. The bridge between the pyramid frequency and human consciousness is not a mystical concept. It's a biological fact. At the very center of our brain, there is a small, pine cone-shaped gland called the pineal gland. Philosophers like Descartes called it the seat of the soul, and esoteric traditions know it as the third eye, the organ of spiritual perception. For a long time, modern science considered it a useless vestige of evolution, but recent discoveries have revealed something that completely changes the game. Scientists have discovered that the interior of the pineal gland is lined with tiny calcite crystals, and these crystals have exactly the same property as the quartz in the king's chamber: piezoelectricity. When these crystals are subjected to mechanical vibration, such as a sound wave, they generate an electric field. Your pineal gland is, literally, a biological radio antenna designed to convert ambient frequency waves into electrical signals that are sent directly to your brain. Now, connect the dots. The king's chamber of the Great Pyramid vibrates constantly at 16 Hz. You enter that chamber. This sound wave travels through the air, passes through your skull, and reaches your pineal gland. The calcite crystals inside it begin to vibrate at the same frequency, 16 Hz, and generate an electrical signal. Your pineal gland becomes a transducer, converting the forbidden sound from the pyramid into a language your brain can understand, activating neural circuits that are normally dormant. You're not just hearing a sound, you're having your biology hacked by it. Exposure to this specific frequency could literally awaken latent capabilities of the human mind. Extrasensory perception, enhanced intuition, out-of-body experiences, access to information from a collective field of consciousness. It wouldn't be magic, it would be physics. The piezoelectric activation of the pineal gland. Researchers who had the rare opportunity to spend time inside the sarcophagus reported experiences that defy logic. One of them, cymatics expert John Stuart Reid, saw the sand form perfect hieroglyphs when vibrated with vowel sounds and reported the spontaneous healing of a chronic back injury after 20 minutes of exposure to the chamber's resonance. The Sound of Thoth, the pyramid frequency, is not merely an external vibration. It is the key that fits perfectly into the lock of our own biology. The pineal gland is the door, and the sound is the password. This suggests that our bodies were designed to interact with these frequencies. That the awakening of the third eye is not a metaphor, but a biomechanical process that can be activated under the right conditions. A potential that has been kept secret, perhaps due to the calcification of the pineal gland through environmental toxins in our modern world. Finally, the puzzle is complete. Sound creates reality. A dissonant sound can keep us sick and imprisoned. A harmonious sound can heal. Ancient machines were built to amplify this sound, and our own bodies possess the antenna to receive it and awaken a divine potential. The secret was never in the pyramid stone, but in the crystal within our heads. But if sound is so important, the way we use it, our speech, must also have a hidden power. What if language itself were a form of magic? Thoth's knowledge went far beyond passive frequencies. He was the master of Heka, the Egyptian word for magic, which literally meant activating the ka, the life force, through speech. For the Egyptians, magic wasn't a trick. It was a precise science of the spoken word. For your soul to successfully navigate the afterlife, you needed to reach the state of Ma Keru, which translates as true voice. This wasn't a metaphor for being an honest person, it was a technical instruction. Your voice needed to vibrate in resonance with cosmic truth, with universal order. To possess the true voice meant that one's words had power. The power to influence matter, to command the elements, to heal and to protect. This sonic technology manifested itself through words of power, or heikao. These were not prayers or requests. They were commands. By pronouncing the correct word, with the correct intention and the correct vibration, a trained priest could, according to them, impose his will upon reality. It was believed that the universe, being itself a creation of sound, was obliged to obey whoever mastered the language of creation. This idea of a primordial language, where sound and meaning are inseparable, did not die in Egypt. Linguistic researchers have found fascinating parallels between ancient Egyptian and West African dialects, such as those of the Dogon tribe of Mali, famous for their advanced astronomical knowledge. Words like hekau find direct echoes in other cultures, suggesting that this sonic knowledge spread, secretly transmitted through lineages of initiates. The idea that speech can generate reality, the power of Nomo, is a central theme in many African traditions. This shows us that the basis of all this ancient science was the understanding that sound is the matrix behind the physical world. Imagine reality as a computer program. The matter we see is merely the graphical interface on the screen, but behind it there is a source code. The language of Thoth, the words of power, would be the commands of this code. Whoever knew the language could rewrite the program, fix bugs, illnesses, or even create new elements on the screen. Manifestation. The physical world would be a vibrational scaffold, and the human voice, the means of interacting with it. This wisdom, which viewed language not as a means of communication, but as a means of creation, has been gradually obscured. It has been replaced by a materialistic worldview, where words are merely empty labels and sound is just a disturbance in the air. We have lost awareness of the power we carry in our throats every day. Every word we speak is a vibration we send out into the universe, a spell we cast, whether we know it or not. We speak without intention, without awareness, and then wonder why our lives are chaotic. The memory of a language capable of rewriting the code of reality, however, never completely disappeared. It survived in esoteric texts, in secret societies, and in shamanic traditions. The promise that we can recover this power has always been there, waiting for those who dare to listen beyond the noise of the modern world. But the question that haunts us is, how can we today, without the temples and rituals of ancient Egypt, without a master to teach us the secret words, access this true voice and begin to use language to create instead of merely describing our reality? The call of inner silence. We have seen that sound can create the universe, heal the body, and that this knowledge has been suppressed. We understand that we have been immersed in constant dissonance, while machines like the Great Pyramid were built as sonic portals to interact with the pineal gland.
Thoth's forbidden sound was never taken from humanity. It was sealed away until consciousness reached the capacity to remember what it once knew. It wasn't erased by time, it was hidden by systems that understood its power. Because a sound that awakens the nervous system, collapses fear, and reconnects the mind to its original state cannot be controlled. Centuries passed, symbols replaced frequencies, and myths were used to guard what could not be destroyed. But frequency does not belong to history, it lives in the present moment. And when awareness reaches a certain threshold, remembrance begins naturally. If you're hearing this now, it isn't coincidence or curiosity. Ancient knowledge doesn't return randomly. It reactivates when the listener is ready. Thoth's forbidden sound was kept from the world for a reason, but it was never meant to be kept from you.